You guys are good to go whenever.
Okay. You're here talking about communication. You're talking about communication problems. So we only have two skills that work to solve almost every problem that you could possibly have. So one is reflection, the other one's assertiveness. And what I'm going to ask you to do is just bear with me for a while, walk through them with me, so that you can at least use the reflection before you go home. Okay? Okay. So first Richard and I are going to do it, and then we'll have you do it with each other, with us, and then with each other. This is the way it looks on paper. So there's a sender and a receiver. The sender sends a sentence, simple sentence, not too complicated, because the receiver is going to have to remember it. And the preface that the sender uses is, would you please reflect? So that's the receiver's cue to get into the mode, to listen and figure out how to rephrase or phrase what the sender's saying. So would you please reflect?
Yes.
You're wearing a watch.
What I hear you saying is that I'm wearing a watch. Is that right?
Yes.
And how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel good.
And that makes you feel good?
Yes.
Okay.
Feelings are one word. If you can come up with a one-word feeling, that eliminates a lot of errors and a lot of segues into various trails that will lead you astray. So try to come up with a feeling word if you're asked how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so would you please be the sender?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Would you please reflect?
Yes.
Okay. I like the way your hair looks.
What I'm hearing you say is that you like the way my hair looks. Is that
Yes.
right? And how does it make you feel?
Makes me feel very good.
Makes you feel very good.
Yes.
So we're going to try it with you guys. So Morgan, I'm going to try it with you. I'm going to be the sender first. Would you please reflect?
Yes.
You are wearing a coral top.
What I hear you saying is I'm wearing a coral top. Is that right?
Yes.
And how does that make you feel?
Makes me feel very good. Looks very nice on you. Okay. Can we reverse roles? Can you be the sender?
Yes. Would you please reflect?
Yes.
You are wearing a blue shirt.
What I'm hearing you say is that I'm wearing a blue shirt. Is that correct?
Yes.
And how does that make you feel?
Happy.
Okay. Makes you feel happy. All right. Would you do it with Will?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Would you please reflect?
Yes.
Your arms are crossed in front of your chest and belly, lower chest and belly.
What I hear you saying is that my arms are crossed over my lower chest and belly. Is
That's
that
right.
And how does that make you feel?
Intrigued.
So you feel intrigued by my arms being
Yes.
crossed.
Okay. Can you switch roles? You be the sender?
Would you please reflect?
Mm-hmm.
I see that your legs are crossed.
What I hear you saying is that you see that my legs are crossed. Did I hear you right?
Yes.
And how does that make you feel?
Comfortable.
It makes you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So now can you try it with each other? Who wants to be the sender first?
I will.
Okay. Would you send Will a message?
Would you please reflect?
Yes.
You seem very annoyed with me.
What I hear you saying is that you think I seem like you're annoying me. Is that right?
Yes.
And how does that make you feel?
Angry.
It makes you feel angry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in that reflection there was a piece that's important to know, and that's that even though you might have a different opinion than Morgan does about whether you're annoyed or not, you said you believe. That's important because I can believe something that may not be true, and if Richard reflects it, he's going to feel weird. So, for instance, would you please reflect?
Mm-hmm.
The moon is made of green cheese.
What I hear you saying is that the moon is made out of green cheese.
Right.
And did I hear you right?
Yes.
And how does it make you feel?
Confused.
It makes you feel confused.
Okay, and if he said that I believe like this,
Mhm.
would you please reflect?
Mm-hmm.
The moon is made of green cheese.
What I hear you saying is that you believe that the moon is made of green cheese. Is that right?
Yes.
And how does that make you feel?
Confused.
And that makes you feel confused.
Okay, so we've made it so that he can reflect what I'm saying, but he's still comfortable because he doesn't necessarily believe
Mhm.
that. Okay, and you did that with Morgan. Okay, so are we done? Have you been the sender yet?
I was not the sender.
Would you take your role?
Would you please reflect?
Yes.
You think that I'm avoiding you because I don't care about you.
What I hear you saying is that you think I think you're avoiding me because you don't care about me, is that right?
Yep.
And how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel angry.
So you would reflect that.
What I hear you saying is that makes you angry,
Yes.
is that right?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Okay, so you did a good job with the reflection. And we'll use that a little bit further on. The other skill that we have, that I'm not gonna ask you to finalize learning today, is the skill of assertiveness. It's a problem-solving skill. The reflection gets you on the same page so that you know what the other person's thinking, you're listening to them. The assertiveness is an effort at solving the problem that is making you frustrated with each other. So there is a first, second, and third line, as well as a fourth. This skill comes from a woman named Linehan who did a lot of work with disturbed families, disturbed people. She invented a lot of socialization skills that have acronyms. This acronym is DEAR. It stands for describe, express, assert, reinforce. The description is when you do something, I feel something. I would like you to, and that's the problem-solving line. If you can think about how to get out of a frustrating pattern, then, and you propose that, this is your third line, your problem-solving line for the couple, and then you'd feel better, usually. So, if Richard ran over the cat yesterday, I might say, when you run over the cat,
Mhm.
I feel very sad.
Mm.
I would like you to look before you pull the car out of the driveway, then I feel better. So we're back to something that has happened between you that may have made you upset. One thing that makes you upset about what Will's doing is, can you think of anything?
Yeah, when I try to speak with him, he seems to ignore what I have to say.
Okay. If you walk through this recipe, can you walk through the first two lines and say that?
When you seem to ignore me, when I'm talking to you, I feel upset that you seem to not care.
Okay. Can you find a third line? And what would you rather have happen?
I would like you to tell me exactly what's on your mind and communicate with me,
And then you'd feel better.
and then I would feel a lot better.
Okay. So that was good. That was good. It's one way out of the kind of the frustrating communication pattern that you have. Something that made you feel upset maybe in the past week? Before you try this, is there something that made you upset in the past week?
Like, I don't know, like a week ago I brought up maybe like fixing up the house a little bit, doing some do-it-yourself projects, and she put me down immediately and just told me that it was stupid and not worth our time.
Okay, so can you begin to frame it with this recipe? When
you put me down without even listening to me, I feel sad,
okay,
and I'd like you to listen to me.
listen to my ideas.
Listen to my ideas, listen
Okay,
to my thoughts, and entertain them, and not just wipe them under the rug, so to speak, and just.
and then I
Yeah.
feel better.
And I feel better. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful, that's very good. You've mastered those two skills in a very short time.
Good.